Hello guys, this is Braden and this is the second installment of my Rubik's Cube program. Today, as you can see, we've already completed the cross. And now we're going to move on to the first two layers of the Rubik's Cube. And after we are done with this, we will have our intended color on the bottom that we need solved. Whatever color that we use to make the cross, we'll have all these solved. And we'll have our first two layers so that the only unsolved parts of the cube are up at top. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is matching up similar corner pieces to their edge pieces in corresponding colors. But basically what I need to do is I need to find whatever corner pieces that resemble the side that I'm solving. So this is a white cross, so I'm gonna find corner pieces that have white on them. As you can see in my immediate field of vision, I can see that I have a white corner piece right here. So now we have to look at the other two colors. There is red and there's green. And so we need to find the red and green edge piece, but in order to do that, we need to first move this up to the top before we find our edge piece. So if your corner looks like this, what you need to do is move it to the top by turning the right face up, moving it out of the way, and moving it back down. As you can see, our cross is still solved, but now we have our piece that we want to solve up top. Now we need to find our red and green edge piece. And that edge piece is, we just scan around the cube real quick, and that's right here. So now this is the important part. The next step is that we need to focus on the orientation that the white side is facing and relative to you. If it's facing away from you, we'll need to have the edge piece over here. However, we need to have the opposite color on top. So since this is red and green, and since green is on top, as you can see, I'm holding my cube like this, and the side that we want to solve is always at the bottom, keep that in mind. But since green is on top, we need to have the red part of this edge piece on top. So in order to do that, we need to not move it like this, because then that would disrupt our cross and bring that down and is on top. We now need to do this movement right here, which will bring the red up to the top, like so. Move it up, always move it counterclockwise, move it down. And now as you can see, they're both on the same plane, they're at the top of the cube. So now we need to have our corner piece in between the green and red sides, which it already is. And so now this is the important part where it comes in. The white side is facing away from me to the right. It's not facing towards me. It's not facing towards me like this one is right here. It's facing away from me to the right. So whenever your white part of your corner that you want to solve is facing to the right, you want to put your edge piece over here. And in order to do that, we need to move the right side down, move the top side up and over, and move this back up. And now as you can see, they're in position to be aligned. My two opposite colors are on top, and we're about to solve this. So now what we need to do is, in order to bring this over here, we need to turn our right face once clockwise. We need to move our top piece, and then we need to move them back down. So I'll show you guys that one more time. Whenever we line up this right here, as you can see, they're lined up in a line. However, we need to match it up with the white cross in order to do this. So when we move it over, we move it down. Okay, so now that first side is solved for the first two layers. We need to now move on to the second side. The second side and the second corner that I'm going to solve is the orange and blue corner piece, the orange, blue, and white corner piece, because I'm trying to solve for the white side. Feel free to solve for whatever side is best for you. As you can see, our two corner and edge pieces that should be aligned are both on top. However, this is not right because we need to have the opposite colors on top. If the blue side of the edge piece is on top, we need to have the opposite color, which is the orange on top. So in order to do that, we need to, once again, move the right face down. And this time we need to move it out of the way of the rotation, so to the left, and move it back up. Now, as you can see, we need to now turn the cube so that way it's aligned. And this is a second situation you can have. There is two situations. I just showed you the first one with the green and red. Now I'm gonna show you the second one. So as you can see, the alignment of this corner is that the white is facing me. When you have your side that you're solving at the bottom and your white is facing you, or whatever color you wish to solve, that means you need to have your corresponding edge piece of the colors to be over here to the left of you. So now that we have our two opposite colors on top, We can't move it this way because the edge piece is not over here and it doesn't align. So in order to do that, we have to move this piece, this front piece only, over here. As you can see, they're aligned. But now our cross is messed up. So we need to move this over here. So we need to move it over, put your cube back to where it needs to be, and move it back down. Now, as you can see, we have 2 parts of the 2 layers solved. Now for the third part, this is a case right here that we need to also do. So our third piece, which is our red and blue edge piece, is already down at the bottom. But to save you some time, when we move our red piece up like this and out of the way, it's already going to be in position that we need it, because the red and blue edge piece that goes with the red and blue corner piece, red and blue and white corner piece, is already the opposite color. So when we do this permutation, the red's going to be on top and the blue's going to be on top for the other piece, which is what we want. So, like, you have to remember, the rules are, if it's facing away from you, then the edge needs to be on the opposite side and the back side of the cube. So, in order to save time, we're going to need to move this over, move this up, then move it back out of the way, so that way you're not bringing down any of your other pieces. So in this situation, you need to move it once, but twice, and move it back down. Now, line it up as I described before, in between here, whichever side that you wanted to solve. And you move this, like I said before, you move the right side once, you twist the upper layer clockwise, and you move it back down. And I'll get into more detail about the specific moves of the Rubik's Cube in the next video, but for now, I'm just going to teach you guys how to solve it without any complex algorithms. And now finally, we've come to our last case. As you can see, here's our last corner that we need to solve, the white and the green and the orange corner piece. We need to find the green and orange edge piece, which is right here. So as you can see, when we move ours to the top like this, we need to, it's not right, because see, as you can see, the same color is on top. So in order to do that, we need to move this to the top, move it out of the way, and move it back down. Now what you need to do is you need to move this once more to flip the piece, so that way it is the 2 opposite colors on top. So move it right here, move it in a position that none of these will be affected when you bring your right side back down, and so you still have your cross. Now what we're going to do is we're going to align it. As you can see that this, since the white is facing me, this is a case where you need to have your edge piece over here. So in order to do that, I can't do this because I'd be messing up what I already previously had, and this is where you need to be careful. So you need to position the cubes, that way the unsolved last column that is unsolved is facing away from you and to the right. So when it's both away from you and to the right and your cube is positioned like this, you can move this down. As you can see, this is not solved yet, so we can now rotate the top layer and it won't matter and we won't mess anything up. So now we need to bring it back over, so we need to move the top layer counterclockwise, so that way the piece is over here, the edge piece, and we bring it back up. Now we can permutate it to the proper side that we need. And now in order to solve this, it's like I said before, facing me, we're in the correct position, the opposite color's on top, we need to move it right here, and so they're both aligned. Move the whites to the whites, so move it over once and move it back down. And as you can see, it is really cool how in 2 lessons you can already solve the first 2 layers. And that is about it for this video, guys. It took a little longer, and I intended it to take a little longer because it's going to take a lot more time to understand. But as long as you keep practicing your previous videos and your cross and your 2 layers, you're going to get it in no time. And once we learn this, there'll be a lot more structure in the next videos, and you guys will have scenarios that will look like what I have on my cube when I'm solving it. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate the drive, you guys coming every week, and I just want to appreciate you guys and everything that you do. So once again, peace out, guys, and have a good weekend.